Little things mean a lot, and the Indians did just that on offense to scratch out 4 runs last night against the Orioles. A stellar start from Ubaldo Jimenez didn't hurt either, and they'll look for more of the same from Zach McAllister this evening. At stake, a series win and a chance to pass the O's in the wild card race. It all starts next on Sports Time Ohio. A gorgeous night in downtown Cleveland for baseball as the Indians and Orioles put the wraps on a 3-game series. A lot at stake for both teams here tonight. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Baltimore won the first one. The Indians come back to even the series at a game apiece. Whoever wins tonight gets a leg up in the wild card standings against the other team. Of course, there are other teams involved in that wild card race, but certainly every game a little more added importance. And for the Indians tonight, they're looking for a strong start from Zach McAllister. Been a little bit up and down here of late. What does he need to do well this evening?
Well, Zach in his last start was beat up pretty much by the Detroit Tigers, but that was a ball lost in the twilight. That didn't help at all, but he didn't have his good breaking ball in that start. He's going to have to change speeds a little bit more. He was roughed up in that start, and then a number of starts ago by the Tigers, but when he went up against Minnesota and the Angels of Los Angeles, he won 3 straight starts. He pitched very well, so if he can come back and pitch like he did in those starts, he should be just fine. He's 3-1 in his last 4, and Zach will be matching up against a left-hander, Zach Britton, who will be making his second start this year against the Indians. He's 1-2 in his career, and a guy making his 7th start this year.
Baltimore, like the Indians, wear and tear is catching up on them. That's why Britton gets the start. They're pushing Miguel Gonzalez back, trying to get him an extra day's rest. Seems like everybody in baseball is trying to weather the storm as we go down the stretch. Zach McAllister will take the ball for the Tribe and will try to pitch them to a series win tonight against Baltimore. It truly is a must-win situation for the Tribe. The play-by-play is next. Boy, it's amazing what one win can do for you. Everybody's spirits lifted a little bit by the Tribe's 4-3 victory over Baltimore last night. A chance to win the series now here this evening. Tribe takes the field behind Zach McAllister. Let's take a look at Buck Showalter starting 9. Brian Roberts will lead off. He's the DH tonight. Manny Machado at third, batting second, then Chris Davis third. Adam Jones clean up. Nick Markakis bats fifth. Matt Wieters, 4 hits in the series, including a home run, will bat sixth. Nate McLeod has hit 2 home runs. He's hitting 7th. Then J.J. Hardy and Ryan Flaherty gets his first start in the series, batting 9th.
Zach McAllister makes his 20th start this year. His record 7-8 with a 381. He is 1-1 in his career against the Baltimore Orioles. Both of those starts came last year. He beat Baltimore in Baltimore, and he lost to him, and he pitched a better game here. The second game he pitched against them. So we'll see what gives tonight. The Indians certainly need a win. You want to take this series and jump ahead of Baltimore in the wild card standings.
Brian Roberts looks at ball 1 up high. 77 degrees, our game time temperature. A light breeze blowing out toward left field, or I should say toward right field. Looks like it's blowing in slightly from left and making its way out toward right center field. Brian Roberts, switch hitter, has gone 1 for 9 in the series. Out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. McAllister into the line on the 2-2. And a fastball hit in the air to right field. Drew Stubbs is out there, and he'll make the catch, 1 away.
Let's check the Kia Indians defense behind McAllister. It's Rayburn getting the start. It's been a while. He's in left field. Bourne's in center. Stubbs made the catch in right. Aviles is at third. Cabrera at short. Kipnis is at second. Swisher at first with Yan Gomes doing the catching.
Mike DeMuro is calling the balls and strikes this evening. Scott Berry at first. Alfonso Marquez at second. The crew chief, Ted Barrett, down at third. Manny Machado swings at the first pitch. And Jason Kipnis fields the one hopper, throws him out, 2 down. With more on Zach McAllister and his plan of attack tonight, here's Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, when Zach McAllister gets in trouble, it's usually because he's over-competing, and you can see it when it happens. His body stiffens up, he starts to get out in front of things, but most notably, it's his location. He'll leave balls over the plate. Now, they've talked with McAllister about not putting so much pressure on himself and just focusing on each pitch, but Mickey Callaway made a good point. He's overachieved this season because of his competitiveness, but at times it also gets in his way.
Not same old story. You can be your own worst enemy at times in this game. Talk about pitchers fighting themselves when it comes to their mechanics. Trying to be too fine or trying to throw it through the backstop usually gets you into trouble. It's really no different than when you talk to hitters who say, sometimes you just have to relax at the plate. And the harder you squeeze the bat, the worse the results are. Same thing with a pitcher. The harder you grip that baseball, the less chance you're going to have of it going where you want it to.
Well, the one thing I think that hurt McAllister this year is when he was injured, and he injured that finger, and he couldn't throw his curveball. Now he's got a different grip to it. He has to throw off-speed pitches. You can't just power your way through unless you have just impeccable control. He's got good control. Throws a lot of strikes. He keeps the ball in the ballpark. But you need off-speed pitches to attack hitters with and offenses.
The 2-2 to Davis. Swung on and missed. He elevated the fastball and threw it right by him. A 1-2-3 first inning for Zach McAllister. The Indians are coming to bat. For the first inning, the Indians coming to bat against left-hander Zach Britton. Tribe's starting lineup for Terry Francona, brought to you by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Michael Bourne leads it off, followed by Nick Swisher. Jason Kipnis will bat third, 2 for 7 in the series with a home run. Carlos Santana in the cleanup spot, followed by Yan Gomes, then Asdrubal Cabrera. Ryan Rayburn back in the starting lineup tonight, batting 7th, and Mike Aviles and Drew Stubbs.
25-year-old Zach Britton on the mound for the Orioles. It'll be start number 7 this year for him. He's 2-3. He made a start back on June 24th against the Indians. He went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs. He didn't give him up in the 5. He gave up his 3 runs in the 6th inning. Opponents hitting 300 off him, and left-handers are hitting better than right-handers. They're hitting 325 off the left-hander. He's not overpowering. He's got a little slider, change-up, in the fastball.
Tribe has gone 24-19 on the year against left-handed starters. Maybe it's just me, but it seems as though, especially in the last couple of months, anytime the Indians have faced a spot starter or somebody has made a call up for a guy to start, it's always been a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, they still think that, they can throw lefties here against this ball club.
Tribe has 7 right-handed bats in the lineup.
You look at this team since the All-Star break, they've struggled to score against anybody, whether they're left-handed or right-handed.
Tried to bunt it, popped it back up over the screen.
You look at 42% of their games, 18 of the 43 games since the break, they've scored 2 runs or less. And, that doesn't cut it. And they're averaging a run less per game than they did in the first half.
Yep.
And that's the big difference. And they're 50 points lower hitting with runners in scoring position.
It all kind of goes together. Broken bat bouncer. Nice diving stop by Davis. And Bourne is safe at first base. Britton was there. He was maybe a little late, but the throw was behind him, so nothing really went right for Baltimore on that play.
No, it didn't. You're going to have to lead him and make a perfect throw. Bourne can get down the line. He jammed him, made a good pitch. Davis makes the play. But you see, Britton's getting over there. He's going to have to lead him. The throw was a little behind him, and he wasn't in a hurry to get it. If they've watched Michael Bourne run, he has a lot of infield hits. He's in the top 5. And that is...
He wouldn't have beat him anyway.
No, that's number 26 for him. Infield hits for Michael Bourne. So you have got to get over there in a hurry. He starts it off with an infield single.
And now up comes Nick Swisher. 0 for 8 in the series. Looks at the ball low and away. To follow up on your point, though, if your batting average is 50 points lower with runners in scoring position, it only stands to reason you're going to score fewer runs. So it all, as I said, it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yep.
As one drops off, you figure the other does, because this isn't a team, while that does have a lot of guys with 9 home runs or more, it's not a team that lives, or it can't thrive by waiting for somebody to hit a home run.
No, they come off, a good at-bat, and you may have some solo shots, a lot of them mixed in there.
Down low, Swisher lays off, it's 2-0. Nick has swung the bat much better from an average standpoint from the right side of the plate. That's drastically different. 50-point jump from the left side to the right side. And he's sitting pretty now, 3-0. Jason Kipnis waiting on deck. Britton finds the zone, 3-1. Ball 4. The Indians have their first 2 on to start the game.
Let's check that Baltimore Orioles defense. Rated #1 in the league. It's McLeod in left, Jones in center, Markakis in right, Machado at third, Hardy at short, Flaherty at second, Davis is at first with Wieters behind the plate. Still only 40 errors for a ball club at this time of year is unbelievable. Early September, we had about 104 games where they have not made an error as a team.
Tell you one thing, had there been a runner slower than Michael Bourne on that first play of the game, that would have been an error. But the fact that he just beat the play, I think, made it easy for the official score to say that's a hit.
Because he would have beat him anyway if he caught it.
Yeah.
On the throw from Davis.
2 on, nobody out. Kipnis bunts it. Perfectly bunted up the third base line. Machado will have no play. An infield bunt single for Jason Kipnis, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. Ball is yet to leave the infield, but the Indians are threatening now right out of the gate here tonight.
Well, Kipnis right there on his own says, I'm going to try and bunt for a base hit. This isn't a sacrifice. He's just going to put it down. He lays down such a good bunt. Machado first thought about going to third base, and with Britton trying to break off the mound, he wasn't going to get there. That's just a perfect bunt. And a really heads-up play by Kipnis because it moves him up. You have the bases loaded. You get a hit. And the Indians with a great opportunity to get on the board early.
5th bunt single of the season for Jason Kipnis. And now Carlos Santana with a chance to do some early damage. Down and in, ball 1. Santana 0 for 6 in the series. But last night he walked twice, and that turned out to be pretty pivotal overall for the Indians because when you're not scoring runs, you got to take the walks. And both of his walks led to scoring opportunities for the Indians. Big swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Missed down low, 2 balls and a strike. Very good career numbers for Santana with the bases loaded. And on the year, he has been dynamite, going 4 for 6. Breaking ball, and it just did catch the outside corner to even the count. Slowly chopped. That's going to go foul. Terry Francona loves to see his team get the runs on the board early. When his team has had the chance to play from in front, it has been a huge difference maker for this club.
And they seem like a different team. You're right. And more than just one.
Swing and a miss. Santana strikes out.
Tied him up.
Keys to the game brought to you by Akron Children's Hospital. Get Zach back on track. That's the key there, and he looked good in his first inning of work. Doing the little things on offense. It worked last night. It's a good recipe for success. And speaking of the little things, when the Indians score first, when they simply score first, they're 30 games above 500, 53-23 on the year. When they don't, they're 20-42. Yan Gomes had a big hit last night. Gomes, a couple of runs driven in with a double off the wall in left field. And a line drive base hit into right field. That'll score Bourne. Swisher will stop at third. As Yan Gomes puts the Indians on top with his 32nd run batted in on the year. A nice piece of hitting. Just drove it the other way into right field. And the bases are still loaded with only one out.
Well, yeah, you like that approach. This is our McDonald's. I'm loving it. Somebody comes out and gets a hit with a runner in scoring position. Looked like a little fastball away. Stayed on it nicely. Put a good swing on it. For Gomes, his 32nd ribby, and the Indians take a 1-0 lead.
Baltimore pitching coach Bill Castro going to the mound. Castro took over the pitching coach duties when Rick Adair left the team for personal reasons. Castro said at the time he wasn't very comfortable when Buck Showalter explained the situation to him. He said, I want to be a pitching coach, but I don't want it to happen this way.
Yeah.
But Buck Showalter said, look, this is the most seamless transition that we can do, is to have Billy step into this role while Rick takes care of personal matters that he needs to take care of. Meanwhile, in the bullpen, Kevin Gausman will begin to loosen up. Bases loaded as Drupal Cabrera steps in, only one out. Swing and a miss. Change of pace had him chasing.
Well, Cabrera came up big with the 2 sacrifice flies last night. They could use another one right here. Don't get greedy.
Exactly right. I mean, that's what we were talking about, the little things. That's what they did last night. Sometimes the little things lead to big things. Machado coming home with the throw.
Yeah.
And they'll get the force at the plate.
A wise play because he didn't feel you could turn to, so you come up and get the run at home plate. Take the out. If it's hit hard enough and he thinks he could get 2, you go for the double play. It wasn't hit hard enough, so they come home. They force Swisher out at the plate, and it stops another run from scoring.
So that's the second out of the inning. Bases still loaded. And Ryan Rayburn will be the batter. Rayburn has been out for quite a while with a calf injury that led to problems in both legs. Pitch inside, ball 1. From a productivity standpoint, Rayburn has had a terrific season.
Rayburn's been huge for this ball club. A lot of big hits. He's a good bat in that lineup as a left-hander. You know, when the left-hander's on the mound. But, you know, he's got to come back after missing a few weeks, almost 3 weeks of baseball, so.
And your first at bat is bases loaded, 2 outs.
That's okay. You know what? I think you like that as a hitter. Come on, you got to come right out of the chute and be ready.
2-1 to count. The runner at third base, Jason Kipnis. Yan Gomes at second as Drupal Cabrera down at first. Left-hander Zach Britton delivers, and Rayburn lines it into right field, a base hit near the lines. Kipnis scores. Gomes coming home. Cabrera flying around third. He gets the stop sign. He'll hold there. Ryan Rayburn, welcome back to the lineup. A 2-out, 2-run double, a 3-run first inning for Cleveland.
How about that? I mean, that's a beautiful piece of hitting right there. You don't think that bat was missing out of the lineup?
Yeah.
Terry Francona loved to write it in there, and that's a ball away. Didn't try and do too much with it. Take what the pitcher gives you. The Indians in their previous 8 games scored only 2 runs in the first 3 innings of all the ball games. They've scored 3 in the first inning tonight with a big 2-out base hit by Rayburn, his first game played since August 18th.
No doubt his bat, a welcome addition back to the lineup. Now Mike Aviles, the 8th Indians hitter in the inning, takes down low, ball 1. It started with an infield hustle hit by Michael Bourne. A walk and then a bunt single by Jason Kipnis loaded him up. Gomes, an opposite field RBI hit And now Rayburn, the 2-out, 2-run single to right field.
That ball's low. That's not a strike.
That's not even close.
I know.
That's a hard hit ball into left field. Another base hit. Cabrera scores. Here comes Rayburn. Throw to the plate. He is out to end the inning. But the Indians sent 8 men to the plate. They score 4 times in the first. And they've got a 4-0 lead. Introducing 3 exciting new quarter pounders, and by Kia. Indians with a 4-0 lead. Second inning. Adam Jones will lead off for Baltimore as Zach McAllister staked to some early offensive run support. Jones takes a strike. He is 1 for 8 in the series. The 2 lethal bats in this lineup, Chris Davis and Adam Jones, have been held in check for the most part by Indians pitching in the season series. Those 2 have combined to go just 9 for 45.
Well, that's a good job. How many ribbies?
4.
Ouch.
Did he go?
No, it hit him.
It was close to offering at it, but I guess he did not. Jones will take his base.
Home plate umpire asked. Mike DeMuro did ask Scott Berry, but he didn't. He was trying to get out of the way, and it looked like it got him on the hand.
Hand or maybe the forearm. Let's take another look.
Much. He couldn't get out of the way. Right, forearm.
Yeah.
You're right below that.
Isn't it amazing, though, is he was starting after the pitch, and it was bearing right in on him.
He's going to swing. He's a guy, he doesn't like to walk. He doesn't take many pitches. He couldn't get out of the way. He already committed when that ball gets him under the band right above the elbow, so it was right on the forearm. Look at Buck's going to take his gloves for him and hold them. Those trainers are great, huh? Where is it? Right there? And they put their thumb right in it, and it hurts more. He looks like he'll be all right.
Well, you have to think that's a better place to get hit than directly on the hand.
I would think so, yes. got a little muscle there or something that can, help it. It may hurt and it may be sore. And you don't really have a chance of breaking one of those little bones like in your hand or your fingers. See, he couldn't get out of the way. He committed. He was going after that pitch.
He'll probably have a good knot on that forearm before it's all said and done. Now Nick Markakis steps in. And he takes a strike. Good block by Gomes. A ball and 2 strikes to count on Nick Markakis. Oh, Swisher couldn't get it. Tried to dig it out, but Jones going to head down to second base.
Yeah, I don't know why you want to really throw over there right now. 4-0.
He's not running.
I wouldn't think so. I really don't. But now you give up the base, and it's going to be an error on McAllister on the throw. He's just trying to get off. And so you take the double play away.
No, that might be another example of what Katie Witham was telling us that the Indians were talking about with regards to McAllister. Trying too hard, trying to do too much in that situation.
I mean, your team give you 4 runs, you hit him. All right, you're not trying to hit him, and he's on first base. But there's really 1-2 count. Concentrate on the hitter. Try and get a double play ball. There's no need to pick him off. It's not like Jones. Jones can steal a base, but I don't think he's going to go in that count when they're down 4-0 right there.
Good rip, fouled it right back. Nick Markakis made his Baltimore debut back in 2006. Just missed. Wow. That looked awfully good.
Well, let's take a look at it then on our Nissan pitch tracker. It's in, and he has good movement on his fastball. That's a 4-seam fastball that has that kind of movement. But by the time Gomes caught it, it looked like a strike, but I think it went around the plate.
Full count.
It was a good pitch. He didn't get him to offer, but a little in.
Now McAllister now faced with a 3-2 count. And the payoff pitch. Slowly chopped first base side. Swisher went into a slide. He wanted to make sure it didn't go foul. He makes the play on it. Jones goes over to third with 1 out now.
You see Swisher do that a lot when he's coming in on ground balls where he'll slide. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Ryan Rayburn had his leg or his ankle or his Achilles, whatever, tested in that first inning because he went from home to second. And then the very next hitter, Mike Aviles, gets a base hit, and he's got to score or try to score, and he is thrown out at home plate.
I think originally it was a right calf that led to the left Achilles.
Right.
It was one or the other.
Well, anyway, it was tested with whatever it may be.
Both of his wheels got to work out.
Isn't that how this game goes? You come back, start your first game, and I'm going to tell you in the first inning, you hit a ball, you have to hustle, get a double, and then you got to run hard to score.
Home to second, second to home.
I'll find out if you're lying in a hurry. I feel good. Let me play. But he's back out there. Had a big 2-out base hit. Part of the 4-run first.
Big indeed. Now Matt Wieters with 1 out and a runner at third base. Back over the screen, a ball and 2 strikes. Matt Wieters, one of just 3 players in Georgia Tech history to earn first-team All-America honors twice. The other 2, Jason Varitek and Nomar Garciaparra.
2 out of the 3 catchers, huh?
And pretty good lineage there for the Ramblin' Wreck. Varitek played seemingly forever. Garciaparra had a long career, even though he battled some injuries. And I think the question for Wieters will be, can he hold up? I mean, he's going to be looked at in the same vein as a Sandy Alomar for a guy of that size. You know,
yeah.
Will his body endure the day in and day out rigors of catching? So far, so good. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. McAllister strikes him out, 2 down.
Pretty good sequence there by McAllister to get Wieters. Really didn't give him a lot of breathing room early in the count. And then he puts him away with a good breakable. There's a slider. Nice. Goes straight down. That's when he's got a good one. You see the bite, the break, gets him to swing over the top, but it was set up by pounding him inside. Good pitch. Good sequence.
Not out of the woods yet. Nate McLouth has swung a big bat for Baltimore so far in the series, and he showed bunt. McLouth hit a 3-run homer in the 9th inning last night that closed the gap to a single run. He also homered in the first game of the series.
This guy is, even some of his outs have been hit right on the nose.
Line drive, another ball hit right on the barrel, but hit right at Stubbs, and the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Cleveland 4, Baltimore nothing. Bottom of the second inning here at Progressive Field. Indians on top 4-0. Drew Stubbs will lead off for Cleveland. Zach Britton, who was on the ropes in the first, they had the bullpen up. Benefiting from a runner thrown out at the plate to end the inning. Indians had 2 men retired at the plate, 1 on a force out. Good news is swinging the bats well and extending the inning by continuing to get base hits. Had 5 hits in that first inning. We went games without 5 hits on that road trip.
Yesterday, 5 hits in that game. Yeah, you'd go a long time for 5 hits.
Stubbs takes a strike.
The Indians this year have 27 games where they have 5 hits or less. That last
strike 3 called. 1 down here in the second. Our stat of the game is brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. Last year, Baltimore had the best record in the history of Major League Baseball in 1-run games. This year,
total opposite.
They're at the other end of the barrel, and the Indians are one of the best. Tell you what else is interesting with regards to that stat. Both of these teams, when it comes to playing in the rubber game of a 3-game series, have had a lot of success. Baltimore has had 19 of them. They're 13-6.
Nice.
The Indians have had 12, and they've gone 9-3.
Nice. Well, and this is the rubber game, and
wow,
back-to-back called strikeouts.
Same guy we saw in the first inning?
Something must have clicked in that dugout. Just locked him up. He tied Bourne up the first time. And there's a good fastball. It's right there. Can't argue. He knows it. I think it's safe to say he was looking for a breaking ball.
Yeah. 2 down. Nick Swisher will be the batter. Nick drew a walk his first time up. Up high, ball 1. Chopped in the hole. Shortstop Hardy throws him out. Indians go quickly in the second. 4-0 Cleveland after 2. Here at the ballpark, the Indians with a 4-0 lead for Baltimore. J.J. Hardy, Ryan Flaherty, Brian Roberts coming up. Zach McAllister has not allowed a hit. He has not walked a batter. He has struck out 2. He hit the leadoff man, Adam Jones, last inning, but Jones wound up stranded at third. Hardy takes a strike. Hard-hitting shortstops had a good series, going 3 for 6.
Well, having a nice year when you think about it. He's hitting in the 8th spot. He's hitting right around 260 with 24 homers and 70 ribbies.
Just turned 31 years of age. Began his career in Milwaukee before spending the 2010 season in Minnesota, and then came to Baltimore. Hits this one high in the air to right field. Drew Stubbs will squeeze it for out number 1. Our great clip of the game from yesterday. Ubaldo Jimenez. He snapped his string of consecutive games with 10 strikeouts. But more importantly, 6 shutout innings. And the Indians needed all 6 of them. Great clips. It's going to be great. And Ubaldo said afterwards, hey, with Masterson down, we've all got to pick up our game. Meaning the starting pitchers. That's hit just over the head of Drew Stubbs. And Ryan Flaherty will go into second base with a 1-out double. His 9th double of the year.
You know, Flaherty, a young player, but always seems to hit us well when we face him. Left-hander smokes this ball to right field over the head of Stubbs. Short hops the wall, cruises into second base with his 9th double.
Man, up comes Brian Roberts. Swung on and missed. Roberts chased one high, perhaps out of the strike zone. One ball, one strike. And he misses outside. Baltimore unable to get the hit with a runner in scoring position in that second inning. And overall in the series, they've lived on the home run ball because they're just 3 for 22 with a runner in scoring position. They had a couple of 2-run homers in game 1 and the 3-run homer last night. But that didn't come until the 9th inning. It was their only scoring of the game. Two balls, 2 strikes, with Flaherty at second base and 1 out here in the 3rd. Not that it would mean anything down the road in the chance that both of these teams would end up tied for a wild card spot, but this game will decide the season series because they split the 4 games in Baltimore and they've split the first 2 thus far here in Cleveland. 3-2 pitch. Well, Roberts drills that one to right field. Stubbs makes the catch. And that's out number 2. That ball was hit so hard.
Looked like it fooled him a little bit.
It sure did.
Well, there have been a couple of balls hit right on the nose. He's already has 4 putouts. Look at that. That ball, I don't know if it might have been around the lights. But he makes a catch. That's out number 2, even though it was hit right on the nose.
I wonder sometimes, too, with those low line drives, if the ribbon boards might not come into play, too, as far as losing a ball in the backdrop. Manny Machado, 46 doubles on the year. The Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index brought to you by Firestone. Low and away, 2 balls and a strike. Brian Roberts, who made the second out of the inning, has the Orioles franchise record for doubles in a season. He set that in 2009 when he had 56. Machado is just 10 shy of that mark. Now, whether or not he can clobber another 10 doubles between now and the end of the season, that would be probably a long shot.
Well, he thought he had one in this series before Michael Brantley picked that ball cleanly off the wall and threw a strike to second base. He had to hold him up at first base.
2-2. A little bit outside, a full count. Payoff pitch. Ripped foul down the right side. Well, Machado, you talked about it with Adam Jones. I mean, Adam Jones has walked 19 times this year. Manny Machado has walked just 26 times.
Right. Here's a younger player, though, and I would expect him, to walk about that many. And he'll learn the strike zone with the pitchers. But the Orioles as a team, they don't walk a whole lot.
Swung on and missed. He strikes him out. And McAllister works around the one-out double. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Cleveland 4, Baltimore nothing. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Jason Kipnis will lead off the home half of the third. Kipnis with a perfectly executed bunt single. to load the bases in the first inning, as the Indians rallied for 4 right out of the gate here tonight. Down low, 2-0.
On that bunt he made, he had Machado tried to come in, and Machado was thinking to go to third base in case the pitcher Britton got off the mound, but it was just perfectly placed. I mean, he deadened it beautifully. He forced him to come in and make that play. Just perfect. Looks easy, doesn't it, when you drop it down?
If you could do it that way every time, what a weapon.
I mean, he made sure he got the bunt down first before he took off. It was well done.
Ball 4. Jason Kipnis with a leadoff walk here in the third inning. And it's time now for tonight's trivia question, brought to you by AT&T. 2 double play combinations have won 4 Gold Gloves as teammates. Who are they? We'll have the answer coming up later in the game. Carlos Santana watches as Britton fires one over to first. The 0-1 is up and away. Santana struck out with the bases loaded in the first inning. This is one of those guys you'd love to see get really hot down the stretch here. He had a season-high 10-game hitting streak back in June. But overall, he just hasn't been able to have one of those extended periods where he hits everything in sight. Last 52 games, he's hit .259, which is roughly what he's hit all season long. So he's been consistent from that regard. He's been a .260 hitter pretty much all season long. But I think we all agree he's got the potential to be much better than that.
You see, everybody says that, and they say it year after year, but you know why he is a .260 hitter? Because he takes his walks. He'll take his 80 to 100 walks. Think about if he tried to put it in play and he didn't take those walks, what he'd hit. So, I mean, you know, the thing of it is that when sometimes he just gets a little long stroke and he tries to hit the ball too far. If he would keep a short line drive stroke and continue to take his walks, he would be, yes, I would agree. He can get up there and hit to 280.
Hit 294 in July, but in June he hit 250. In August he hit 240. So on either side of that 294, you see why you're right around 260 for the season. I'll tell you, Baltimore, they just have the book on him. He is 1 for 19 against the Orioles this year. Jason Kipnis with 24 steals. Held at first by Chris Davis.
Oh.
He was going, but he gets back in time.
He was going on first movement. He thought he saw movement. He took off, and he was still able to get back. So
Britton's upset with himself because he didn't get him picked off.
Well, there's the big step, and by the time he picked it up, he should have just stepped off and threw it. He knew it. He knew it. And usually after a base runner does that, you know, he's going to stay put, because you know what? Element of surprise is gone. You know, and he was probably thinking that Santana was going to get a breaking ball here in this count.
In the dirt. He did get the breaking ball. It's 2-2.
That's what you want to run on, a pitch just like that. But left-handers, they're guys that you have to guess with sometimes, too, as a base stealer. You know, if you sit and wait for something in that delivery that they're not going to show you and you take off, you won't have a good jump and you'll get thrown out. So you have to guess sometimes.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Already 50 pitches thrown by Britton, 34 strikes. Santana strikes out again. That's 4 Ks for Britton. He's gotten Santana twice.
Well, the video game that puts you in the owner's suite is now available free on iPhone and iPad. You build your stadium and make the decisions to guide your team to the World Series. You can download MLB Ballpark Empire. It is free today.
Yan Gomes drove in a run with a solid line drive base hit into right field his first time up. Took the ball the other way and picked up his 32nd run batted in. Back out of play, the count 0-1. Gomes has picked up a hit in 4 straight games. If you include tonight, that would be 5 in a row. His career-high hitting streak of 7 in a row came back in May.
Well, it's hard to have a hitting streak of any length when you're not playing every day. You know, and he wasn't playing every day, so it is tough to get something going.
Chased one in the dirt. He's also moved up in the lineup tonight, batting in the 5 hole. Last night, in his start, he batted 8th, and that's primarily where Francona has used him the most this year. Britton's 0-2. Gomes hits it into left field. How about that? He tried to run one by him inside, and Gomes dropped the hammer on it, pulled it through the hole on the left side, and the Indians have 2 on with 1 out. And Gomes is 2 for 2.
That was an 0-2 pitch, too.
Yep.
And he tried to throw that fastball. It was on the plate, but Gomes does a nice job of digging it out and hits it into left field. And out comes Buck Showalter, and his young pitcher is going to go to the showers.
Just 54 pitches on the night for Zach Britton. But Showalter has seen enough, and maybe that fact that he gave up an 0-2 base hit was what did him in. Today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Baltimore to the bullpen. We'll be right back. One out as Dribble Cabrera will be coming up. And the new pitcher for Baltimore is right-hander Kevin Gausman.
Made 5 starts, so he's coming in long relief. Trying to get Baltimore some innings and keep it where it sits. First and second, just 1 out, facing Cabrera.
As Dribble Cabrera bounced into a fielder's choice, but wound up coming around to score a run in the first inning. Takes low, ball 1. That's a called strike. 1-1 the count on the fastball, 94 miles an hour. Gausman, a former first-round pick out of LSU just a year ago. Colorado native. Now, a ball and 2 strikes. He turned that fastball over, and it was at 97 miles an hour. Jason Kipnis, the runner at second base. Yan Gomes at first. Cabrera awaits the 1-2 pitch. And Gausman delivers in the dirt. 2-2. Gausman, when he was at LSU, he started a habit that became a superstition. He would eat
3 mini powdered donuts after every inning.
Wow. Sugar freak.
They started calling him Duncan.
I like him. Time to get to the chocolates.
The 2-2. By the 7th inning, you'd have a serious bellyache, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have a buzz going of some kind.
Or you'd be out there on the mound with powdered sugar all over your face.
Drinking a lot of milk, too.
Yeah. Trainers don't have to worry about ice, but they've got to keep a lot of cold milk on hand. Ryan Rayburn waiting on deck. Cabrera takes aim. Payoff pitch. Strike 3 called.
It's a good pitch. Inside part of the plate. Cabrera sort of backed off at the end.
There's the AT&T U-verse rewind. Ryan Rayburn, his first game back in the lineup. Drove in a couple with a double down the right field line, right out of the box, having to test that injured wheel. And then he goes second to home.
Shortly thereafter, or close to home.
But he's thrown out at the plate. So here he is again with 2 on and 2 out. Found over by the Indians dugout. Swung on and missed. That's why the Orioles like him. Not the 98, but he's got downward movement, little sinking action on that fastball.
Looked like he had a pretty good changeup there, too, the pitch before he struck Cabrera out.
That's his money pitch.
Yeah.
But the Orioles figure in their park, you need guys that can keep it down. And this guy might be one of the building blocks of the future for Baltimore. Oh, that was wicked. A couple of strikeouts for Gossman. He gets Baltimore out of trouble here in the third. It's still 4-0 Cleveland.
After a day off tomorrow for the Indians, on the weekend the New York Mets will head to town. It'll be Friday night. It'll be Dollar Dog Night and also fireworks nights following the ball game. Sugardale Dollar Dogs all game long, and the fireworks will be presented by Wayside Furniture, set to the rise of FM music. Go to Indians.com for your tickets. Don't knock the rock. That's the jersey. That was when he was a coach here.
I was going to say,
in the 70s.
that looks like that might be an
I
official
can tell by
jersey.
the lettering. That's size sewing right there.
Yeah.
That is an official jersey.
That
I'll
might
bet
be
you it is.
the real deal right there.
No doubt.
Huh?
Yep. That's the real deal.
Suppose he bought that for
'Cause
Rocky?
I've got one of those jerseys in my basement. We only had one apiece. Rocky stole it, and I stole mine, so don't tell Cy.
Chris Davis struck out his only time up in the first. Looks at a ball outside, 2-1. Tribe employing the shift, 3 on the right side for Davis. 1 for 8 in the series. And then the count 2-2.
It looks like Davis is trying to hit a home run every swing he has taken in this series. And, you know, he might be. You get into a HR contest with Cabrera, the guy that was the Triple Crown winner next year, wouldn't surprise me.
Ripped foul.
Because this guy has excellent power to all parts of the ballpark. Earlier in the year, when you watch some highlights, you would see him go to left center field. You'll see him take doubles down the left field line on line drives. When he's locked in, he's using the whole field. And to me, it looks like he's trying to lift and separate and hit that ball or pull it to right.
They ran the fastball up high. He wasn't biting. Full count. He'll chase, but within reason. He'll chase letter high, but I don't think he's going to swing at just any old thing because it's high.
Throw it belled high. A little above. There, well, that was a little too low. He has that slight uppercut, as a lot of left-handers do, and you get it down in that nitro zone, it'll go a long way.
Well, in addition to the 47 home runs, he's hit 38 doubles.
Yeah, that's
good one. Breaking ball rung him up. 4th strikeout for McAllister. 1 down here in the 4th inning.
little slider away. Looks like Gomes was sitting on the inside, but that very, very nice pitch on the outside part of the plate. Stayed right out there, and he just gave up on it. So McAllister gets the called strikeout. He has gotten Davis twice tonight.
He hit Adam Jones with a pitch his first time up. Upstairs with a fastball, 1-0. That looked like maybe a slider that backed up on him. But Jones swung underneath of it, and it's 1-1. High drive, deep left field. Rayburn back. He's looking up, and it is gone. Adam Jones with a solo home run, his 29th of the season. It gets Baltimore on the board, and the Indians' lead is now 4-1.
10th home run given up by McAllister.
This looked like a spinner, Rick, one that didn't break.
Watch, look. Oh, yeah, that stayed right there. Remember, that's where the left-handed one was to Davis. It started outside and went the other way. That one was a spinner is right. And then he just got underneath it and it kept carrying. And carrying. So the Orioles are now on the board with the home run ball, and they lead the league in that department, and they can hit them.
Pitch outside to Nick Markakis, who grounded out his first and only time up.
That was Jones's first RBI against the Indians.
I told you before, he and Davis only had 4 coming in.
That's right. That was his first, so they have done a nice job and held him down until that swing.
Out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 called. Second called, third strike of the inning. And we've got 2 down here in the fourth. We'll go back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, Rick, let's go to Boston where the Tigers taking on the Red Sox, and they have the lead now 4-3 thanks in part to this 2-run homer by Prince Fielder, his 22nd of the season. It's been back and forth so far. Dempster against Porcello. Tigers up by 1 in the 4th inning. Matt?
Thanks, Al. Matt Wieters lifts one out of play. Wieters struck out his first and only time up in the 2nd inning. Well, he didn't go, but I thought the pitch was awfully close to being a strike to begin with. 2-1. Foul first base side.
Not by much, huh?
2-2. Well, Wieters and the guy behind him, McLeod, they've been the guys who've done most of the heavy lifting against the Indians this year. They came in combined .326 average, whereas Davis and Jones were right around 200. Back out of play. It stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. Did he go?
Yeah. Okay.
Nope,
it was
he did
close.
Not. Full count.
It was close. We're sitting from behind it. We'll get a side look here, and this will give us a much better view. A look from the side. Ooh, close.
Sure was.
Yeah, it was really close. So he stays alive. It'll be a full count now for Matt Wieters.
Broke his bat, and Kipnis will make the grab. Baltimore gets on the board on the big fly from Adam Jones, but it's Cleveland leading it 4-1. of the Browns. Expect the unexpected from the Buckeyes this season. And check out the new Fox Sports Ohio girl, Bridget. Complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on foxsportsohio.com. Tribe leading it by a score of 4-1. Mike Aviles, Drew Stubbs, and Michael Bourne coming up for the Tribe here in the fourth inning. High pop.
It'll be close.
Moving over toward the seats. Davis won't get to it.
I want to send out a birthday wish. Mary Pazelic. Medina is turning 91. Mary, a very happy birthday to you.
Aviles drives one deep left field. This is going to be extra bases. McLeod gives chase. And Mike into second base with a leadoff double.
Well, he left him a changeup or an off-speed pitch up, and he made it on the inner part of the plate. It speeds up the bat of Aviles. He's able to turn on it. Let's check it out. Looked like a changeup that he left on the inner part of the plate. Or a hanging breaking ball. It looked like it was a slider on that second replay, but it gets down into the corner. Aviles, his second hit, he's 2 for 2.
Drew Stubbs called out on strikes his only time up. Shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes ball one. Tried to bunt, fouled it. One ball, one strike. Drew Stubbs trying to move Mike Aviles to third base at the least here.
Tribe tonight 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position compared to 1 for 11 in the first 2.
Takes the pitch down low. And now the count goes in his favor at 2-1. Bunts it, and it's caught. And the throw to second, they got him. A double play.
Well, anytime you put that ball in the air, you know, it sort of freezes the runner, but Aviles took off. You see, he stopped a little too late. He was anticipating that ball on the ground. Pretty heads-up play by Gossman. Getting the double play, caught it in the air, and easy for him to turn to second, and he gets the double play.
Michael Bourne taking a strike over the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Painted the outside corner with it. Breaking ball down in the dirt. Full count. Threw it right by him. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Inning over. 4 complete. 4-1 Cleveland. By the wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Rethink possible. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Indians lead at 4-1. 5th inning for Cleveland. Zach McAllister has gone 4 innings. He's given up just 2 hits. One, a solo shot by Adam Jones for the only run. He's not walked a batter, and he has struck out 5. Nate McLeod flied out his only time up. Fastball over the outside corner.
Hit it on the nose like
yes,
he's
he
done
did.
with a lot of balls in this series.
Yeah, he fouled out in the 6th inning in Game 1. I think that's the only ball that he hasn't hit hard.
I remember he drove run into right center or left center field that was an out, but I mean that could have been an easy double.
Big hopper to first, and Nick Swisher will take it himself. 1 away.
Well, bring the whole family out to the ballpark each and every Sunday. Home game. It'll be Kids Fun Day. And a lot of activities out there for the kids. They get to run the bases after the game. It's presented by Cleveland Clinic. Log on to Indians.com for your tickets. Not many more Sunday home games left, are there? We have 2.
Yeah, it's just about getting down to the nitty-gritty. Reminds me, our final 2 home Saturday games are coming up. Indians will play the Mets this weekend at home. And those last 2 home Saturday games are 6 p.m. starts. So make a scheduling note if you're planning on coming down to the yard or tuning into the game. Normally you get to 7 o'clock or maybe a 1 o'clock, occasionally a 4, but The last two Saturday home games are 6 p.m. starts. That's a fair ball. And J.J. Hardy is going to go for 2, and he will go in easily with a 1-out double. Third hit of the night for Baltimore. All 3 have gone for extra bases.
You know, he flew out to right his first time, but this one came, it moved in. With the movement on McAllister's four-seamer, it came in a little bit more, made it easier for him to stay inside the ball and hit it to right field. That got that one down into the corner, so he jogs in, second base. 21st double for him.
And Ryan Flaherty, who doubled his only time up, takes a strike. Flaherty, he lined one over the head of Drew Stubbs in right field. He hit it hard.
Yes, he did.
How about Ryan Flaherty? 5 for 7 against Cleveland pitching this year. McAllister rears back, throws it by him. It's 1-2. Just missing. That's a couple of times tonight he's gone with that pitch on the inside part of the plate, running it back over the corner.
You know what?
Just off.
You try and make the perfect pitch, but if you miss inside. There's nothing wrong with that. When that ball comes back over the inside part, you don't want it coming over the middle part of the plate, which would be nitro zone. And then he comes right back in there and nails it.
Well done by McAllister. Half dozen strikeouts on the night, 2 down here in the 5th.
This one was elevated a little bit. Watch, he goes right back in there, and that was a true straight pitch. You know, because when I say four-seamer for McAllister, his four-seamer moves. That one was, let me just say, it was straighter. Had no movement on it. It was a good pitch. Elevated a little bit.
Brian Roberts 0 for 2. Both times he's hit the ball to right field. Both times Drew Stubbs has been there to grab it. Fastball up and away, 1-1 to count. Ryan Flaherty, the runner at second base, checks his surroundings. McAllister gives him a peek, and now the 1-1 missed inside. And Roberts gets ahead in the count. Gone to nothing but fastballs here of late. Exclusively running heaters in there. And another one, but it's letter high and doesn't get the call. 3-1.
In his last start, that's what they were talking about. Callaway was talking about you have to pitch inside to that Detroit ball club. They're a team, if you don't prove you can go in there, they'll wear you out, and they did. But tonight he's making a very good conscious effort of going in there and throwing some strikes and then also missing in off the plate.
Another fastball, but it misses up high, and he walks him. At some point, he's got to come with something off speed just to show him a little wrinkle. And here comes Mickey Callaway. He might be seeing the same thing.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, he does get fastball heavy. You know, you have to change speeds to your hitters. Now you're going through that third time through the lineup, and that's when he struggles a little bit. Third time through for Zach, opposition hitting .310.
Well, the batter is going to be Manny Machado, who is 0 for 2 so far tonight and 2 for 12 in the series. But with Machado and Chris Davis right behind him, a couple of guys on base, Baltimore could put themselves right back in this thing with one swing of the bat.
Yeah, that's what makes this team a dangerous club. They get a base runner here or there and then one swing and they could be right back in it.
Machado struck out chasing a high fastball his last time up. And he starts him off with a slider.
Yeah, Callaway had to go out there and say, look, you just can't stay with one pitch. You got to take a hitter off your fastball.
And he popped him back out of play. It's 0-2. And now Gomes going to go out and talk about what they want to do here. They've got him down 0-2. Another off-speed pitch, another foul back. Hardy, who doubled, still at second. Roberts, who drew the walk, down at first. And with 2 gone, Zach McAllister trying to put Machado away.
Well, you've got an 0-2 count, and you can see Gomes saying step off. They don't get on the same page unless he's just trying to make him wait a little bit and not rush. But you got to use your head here. You've got a couple of pitches you can set him up with if needed.
Well, he's thrown all breaking balls to this point. Fastball, that should have been strike 3.
That's a pretty good pitch. Like it.
Wow.
It's a good pitch, 0-2, and look at Gomes slides up off the plate, but with his movement,
I mean, that's
that
a
could
strike.
be right on the edge. Well, that's what it shows.
That's belt high.
That's what it shows. That looks like on the outside edge.
That's in the dirt. It got away from Gomes, and both runners will move up. Hardy to third, Roberts down to second. And on the wild pitch, Baltimore puts 2 into scoring position.
Came back with a slider, made sure he was going to miss with it down. That ball stayed down on Gomes. You know what? I don't know if that hit maybe a piece of the plate, a corner of the plate, or whatever, but it hit something and stayed down. It skipped. Didn't bounce up like they normally do. Don't know if it was from the spin of the baseball or not.
Yeah, it might have hit a corner of the plate.
Could have.
Two and two. In the air, deep center field. Bourne chasing back. He is at the wall, and it's gone. And Baltimore has come back to tie the game. Manny Machado with a 2-out, 3-run homer. You give good hitters extra chances, and again, he had him struck out on a fastball that should have been called strike 3. It was not. Machado got second life, and he takes full advantage of it.
He certainly did. I mean, he put a good swing, and when you watch it, it's a line drive. It gives him a little swinging room. But was it upstairs? Yes. It was belt high, and it looked like it was middle of the plate, and he hits it to center field. And we have a tie ball game, and you can see how quickly the Orioles can strike back. So McAllister gives up his second home run of the game, and that's how Baltimore scored all home runs. 3-run homer and the solo shot. Let's look at this from behind. The hitter's eye, ouch. He just got the barrel.
That's ripped. Another hit. Stubbs cuts it off. Davis aboard to keep the inning alive for Baltimore now. Brian Shaw getting loose in the Indians' bullpen. There were 2 outs and only 1 man on base when Brian Roberts drew the walk. And then Manny Machado took a look at a 2-strike, 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And it was called a ball. He had a second opportunity, and he clobbered it. And that's going to be it for McAllister.
Well, you know, he knows that McAllister, it happens quickly. And it certainly did here. He's going to sit down and shake his head, and he's going to feel like he should have been out of this inning. And now he's going to leave it with a tie game, and his runner's on first base. I think disappointed is Zach McAllister, and rightfully so.
Today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen will be for Brian Shaw when we come back. Check out Fox Sports Live as Jayon Wright and Dan O'Toole are joined by a host of sports figures, Donovan McNabb, Gary Payton, Andy Roddick, Carissa Thompson. They'll bring you everything you need to know about the world of sports. Fox Sports Live airs nightly on Fox Sports 1. Brian Shaw on for the Indians here in the 5th inning with the game tied at 4 and 2 down. Shaw's 59th appearance, 2-3, a 4.01 earned run average. And this right-hander will face Adam Jones. Jones was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning, was stranded at 3rd. And he got Baltimore on the board in the 4th inning when he smoked a home run to left field.
Yeah, he got even, didn't he? Hit the first time up and hit one out of here his second.
Roped foul.
That was his first at-bat. Came up and in and got him on the forearm, and then there it was. Pretty swing. See him touch home plate. What was that for?
That's just something he does, I think, every time he hits a home run. Yeah.
Well, I haven't even seen it on the highlights, so I wouldn't know.
Swung on and missed. The ball and 2 strikes. Brian Shaw, with his 59th appearance. Last year he pitched in a career-high 64 games. And He's on pace to zoom past that before this season's over. Way outside, 2-2.
Oh, my goodness.
What a jump. And there's not even, he's, wow.
Well, there's nothing. With 2 strikes, he wasn't even looking at him, as you can see. And he just took off, and he had about you talk about opening up the barn door and watching him go. There he goes. He gone. You're not going to get him. But on a 2-2 count, it was a ball. He would have had to swing if it was in the zone.
Fouled back.
He stayed on that slider to stay alive. That's about what you have to do. That was a pretty good pitch from Shaw.
Again, the payoff pitch. And it's fouled back out of play. Tell you what, you could put Adam Jones and Mike Ditka in a gum chewing contest, and it would be tough to declare a winner. It was one set of Mike Ditka. He doesn't chew gum, he attacks it. And you watch Jones work over that piece of gum in his mouth, and it reminds me of the same thing. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Shaw gets him to end the inning. But the Birds are back on a 3-run jack by Manny Machado. We are even at 4. Four is our score. And the Indians here in the bottom of the 5th inning will have Swisher, Kipnis, and Santana do up. Tribe came out guns blazing, scored 4 in the first. But Zach Britton was yanked in the third inning, and this guy, Kevin Gossman, has been dynamite. He has struck out 3. He's given up 1 hit.
Well, see if they have a response here. Baltimore scored in the last 2 innings. If they can come back and just answer. Take a little bit of that momentum away because you can see it starting to swing.
Outside he missed. 1-1.
You know, Baltimore was sitting down there, no panic, when they were down 4-0, and they had a couple of home runs, and that's what they live by.
Broken bat, bouncer towards short. That's the third baseman, Machado, with the shift on. 1 away. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Yan Gomes with an opposite field RBI single in the first. Got the Indians off and running. And Ryan Rayburn with a 2-run double. It was 4-0 Cleveland early. But back comes Baltimore. A solo shot by Adam Jones and a 3-run homer by Manny Machado has tied the game. Jason Kipnis looks. It's low, ball 1. Kipnis, a bunt single, scored in the first. Walked his last time up. Three balls, no strikes. Taking all the way. Gossman lays it in there. Kipnis just ropes it right back up the middle.
He's been on base all 3 times. He looks like he's starting to swing it a lot better, or at least see it a lot better. Let's put it that way. 2 for 2. But you get the count in your favor. You can be very selective. He got himself a fastball down and takes it right back up the middle. Good swing. That's 8 hits now for the Indians. They had 5 in that first inning, but a couple of them were infield hits. The bunt by Kipnis. Infield single by Bourne.
Down low, it's ball 1 to Carlos Santana, who has struck out both times up tonight. Pitch outside, 2-0. Kevin Gossman, who grew up in Colorado, pitched collegiately at LSU. Passed up an offer from the Dodgers coming out of high school to attend LSU. Gossman's great-grandfather installed the lights at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, is that right?
And, of course, his family passed down the story to him, and they told him if you work hard enough, you get a chance to play on that field someday. The story goes his great-grandfather only asked for one thing in return for putting the lights up. 8 tickets for life.
No kidding.
To the College World Series. So he grew up going to those games.
Pretty nice deal.
Family would travel from Colorado down to Nebraska to watch the College World Series every year, and that was his dream. He wanted to go and play in that College World Series. Of course, you go to LSU, there's a good chance you're going to get there with that program. And he pitched very well at LSU, and that enabled him to catch the eye of the Baltimore Orioles. And, of course, they made him their first-round pick just a season ago, and now he's up here in the big leagues, and you can see why they like him. He's got a tremendous fastball, and he keeps it down.
He's got a good arm, and you're right. I mean, to make it to the big leagues a year after you're drafted is something special.
But Baltimore Orioles fans, like Indians fans with regards to maybe a Danny Salazar, they want to see more. They see a little bit.
Right.
You know, it's like that teaser. We want more. We like what we see. Give us more. But the Orioles have to be careful with him, just as the Indians are being careful
and they
with
will.
Salazar.
You know, he's made a few starts, and he's coming out of the bullpen, and he came in the third inning of this ball game. And you're right. I mean, there's a lot to be learned by young pitchers, even though they have great arms.
Trying to steal back the momentum now. Yan Gomes has had a good night. 2 hits, a ribby, a run scored. And he takes a called strike.
96 two-seamer. That ball runs into the right-handers.
Well, it's 6'4", 6'5". I mean, the ball just kind of free and easy out of his hand. Double barrel action in the Baltimore bullpen. That's hammered. Fair ball left field line. Down into the corner it goes. Kipnis will score. Santana into third. Gomes with a double, his 3rd hit of the night. And the Indians retake the lead 5-4.
Well, there you go. There's your response right there. And that was a pretty swing on a 97-mile-an-hour heater. Gomes answers. He is 3 for 3 tonight. And in that number 5 hole, look at that fastball. That stayed middle of the plate, and he took advantage. Boy, smoked it down there, so that's a big hit. So they answer. Kipnis scores. They retake the lead and a chance to add on.
Well, and before he was throwing that ball around the knees or just below. That one creeping up. And Gomes jumped all over it. They'll intentionally walk Cabrera here to load the bases with 1 out. Yan Gomes has been aggressive in his 3 trips to the plate tonight. Gomes, who had the RBI single in the first and a 1-out single in the third, now the RBI double here in the 5th. All of that on 7 pitches. Jason Kipnis with the tie-breaking run. We'll now watch the rest of this inning from the dugout as the Indians try to inflict some more damage with Ryan Rayburn coming up. And Rayburn doubled in 2 runs his first time up tonight in his first action back in the lineup.
They had Stinson and Patton both up getting loose. So you had a righty, a lefty in case they wanted to pinch hit here. So they decided to put Cabrera on and play for a double play ball.
Rayburn takes a strike. Rayburn, who was on the disabled list since August the 19th. Gets away. Yeah. Coming home from third, Santana will score. Gomes to third, Cabrera to second, and the Indians now lead it 6-4.
Well, that sort of takes the double play and all your strategy out of play. This ball bounces in. Wieters couldn't handle it. He tried to put a body on it, and it deflects off him. Goes back to the screen, so make it 6-4 Indians.
Swung on and missed by Rayburn. Rayburn almost chased after. Wieters is saying the ball glanced off of his bat. Nobody's buying any of his arguments, though.
Well, he certainly didn't swing.
No. And I think Wieters was probably just trying to get his young pitcher an easy out if he could. Back out of play. A dangerous pitch to throw to Rayburn. He can murder a fastball.
Well, he likes it, you know, and he's a guy. He has a good eye. You make your pitch to him, you can get him to swing and miss, but he can get after that fastball. I'll tell you that.
Rayburn chops it, slowly hit to third. Machado throws him out. The runners have to hold 2 away. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios right now for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, the New York Yankees, a very hot baseball team right now, and the White Sox providing little resistance. Here in the 4th inning, the Yankees score 4, thanks in part to this 2 RBI triple by Brett Gardner.
Travis Kelcher.
5-1 New York, 7th inning in the Bronx. Matt?
I don't know how well you can see that, but look where that guy's rubbing with his hand. That foul ball that Ryan Rayburn hit smoked that TV screen, hit it right in the middle of it.
It gone?
It is no longer operable. Nick Markakis will grab the fly ball at the bat of Aviles. The Indians get a pair. They regain the lead, 6-4 Cleveland.
I will.
The foul ball that Rayburn hit. Follow the white dot. Boom!
Oh, wow. Nice. Oh, they're scrambling. They're looking for the baseball. Everyone else is saying, what happened to that TV?
Lights out.
Now, what are the chances that, I mean, it would go through there? It's got to be
It's a
perfect
small opening.
trajectory.
Exactly. It's not very likely, I would think. Matt Carson taking over in left field. I'm guessing they have insurance for that sort of thing.
I would think so. We got to get MJ over there who runs it, the auto club.
She's probably got one of those in her basement. She can just bring it in tomorrow and install a new one.
We have word that Gary's already requested that television to take home.
What's he going to do with it?
He'll fix it.
He's going to have to wrestle Jim Folk for it.
He might.
And the 2-0. is a called strike to Markakis, who is 0 for 2 on the night. Two balls, two strikes. Shaw delivers. Just a little bit inside and a full count. Boston leading Detroit 5-4. They're in the 6th inning at Fenway. Fly ball, left field near the line, sinking in a hurry. Out goes Aviles, and he's there to make the grab. One down. Let's go downstairs to Katie with him. She saw, well, we both were down there. We saw something rather unusual before the game today.
I never thought I would see this, Matt, at the ballpark. Now, Cody Allen is known for his nickname Chicken Owl. And today, Justin Masterson brought a live chicken out during stretch to poke fun at his teammate, but also to keep the guys loose, make sure they're having fun. Francona loved it, said, don't worry, no harm will be done to the chicken. It's well taken care of. But you can tell these guys definitely in a good mood today.
Katie, how did he get the nickname Chicken Owl?
You know what? I heard that the nickname originated from Frank Herman, who is out in Arizona rehabbing right now. And apparently whenever Herman gives a guy a nickname, no matter whether they like it or not, it sticks. So Cody Allen is Chicken Owl.
That's it. It shall be. When I first saw Masterson with the chicken in his hands, all I could think of was, because I just saw him carrying, and I didn't see anything that transpired before it, and I thought, did he just catch that thing? Was it running loose on the field? All I could think of was Rocky Balboa. Remember when he's chasing the chicken around, training for the fight against Apollo Creed?
Oh, man.
Why that's the first thing I thought of, I have no idea, but
I think Brandon would have killed him before he got on his field, so he had to go get it.
There it is, Chicken Owl. That's beautiful.
Keep him away from Joe Boo.
There he is.
Chicken Owl.
Nate McLeod, 0 for 2 on the night. Takes the strike. That's flared in for a base hit, broke his bat. And McLeod has a 2-out single to keep the inning alive for Baltimore. Week 2 of the high school football season starts tomorrow night on Fox Sports Ohio as Massillon hosts the Glen Oak Eagles in a Stark County showdown. Jeff Phelps, Frank Stams have the action tomorrow at 7:30 on Fox Sports Ohio. Terry Francona is going to go to Chicken Owl here in the 6th inning with 2 down and a runner at first. J.J. Hardy will be the batter. And Cody Allen will be coming on when we come back.
Going to happen after the game. Dollar Dogs during the game. Presented by Wayside Furniture at the fireworks, and they will be set to the rise of FM music. That's Friday night.
Cody Allen will be making his 64th appearance of the year. That is tied for the third most in the American League. So he has really been a go-to guy for Terry Francona this year.
75 strikeouts in his 60 innings, so he has really gone out. He's got a good fastball and a curveball. Sometimes that curveball's not there, but when he has both, he is awfully tough.
Yeah, I think when he's got that breaking ball, he can be darn near unhittable.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Well, he's coming on. He has 2 outs, runner on first base.
J.J. Hardy, the batter, doubled and scored his last time up. And Allen starts him off with a breaking ball, strike one. Cody comes set. He delivers, and it's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Quick throw over. Back with the dive, McLaughlin. He's got 29 steals, so he definitely is a guy you want to keep an eye on. In this situation, maybe not.
Well, he has to feel he's going to make it, and get a good jump. Cody Allen's about average when it comes to his move to getting the ball to the catcher, but Gomes can throw very well.
That's driven pretty well. Deep center. Bourne says, I've got it. He backpedals. Makes the catch on the front edge of the warning track, and the side is retired. We'll go to the 7th. Bottom of the 6th, 6-4 Cleveland. Tomorrow is Browns night on Sports Time Ohio. Andre Knott, Mary Kay Cabot will take your calls on the Browns Red Zone, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings at 8. Then stay tuned for the debut of Browns Insider with head coach Rob Chudzinski at 10. Right here on the cable home of the Cleveland Browns, Sports Time Ohio. Francisco Rodriguez. At one time, this guy had some of the most electrifying stuff in the game in the back end of the bullpen. He was a closer out in Anaheim, then Milwaukee, and still very effective, but just not quite the same guy.
Well, came up in that World Series year, didn't he, 2002? Month of September, and they ended up able to keep him on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to have the electric slider. I mean, falls off the mound and always did. Spent time with the Mets, the Brewers.
Bounced foul. If I remember right, and I could be wrong, when he got called up, when he was put on the team in 2002, it was so late. It was after.
Yeah, it was mid-September, I believe.
Yeah, it was way after the deadline. So they had to have an injured player for him to get on the roster.
That is correct.
But because he got on there so late, you know how they divvy up the World Series shares and all that? I'm not even sure he got a share because he was such a late addition.
Very well could be.
And he was a pivotal part of that bullpen.
Well, there's the slider right there. It can be a tough pitch. Yeah, you go back. You're right. That's, 10, 11 years ago. So
boy.
When you think about it, I don't know. But if he wasn't there all year, he probably didn't get a full share. You're right.
Upstairs with it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. But you know how that goes. You only remember, a lot of times, you only remember that little snapshot of the World Series, the last few. You don't realize the long grind it takes to get to that point.
Yeah. Well, the 5.5 months before that.
Strike 3 called. 1 down here in the 6th inning. Injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers. For serious injuries, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Matt Moore came off the DL. 5 1/3 scoreless innings last night for Tampa Bay. And Jose Bautista will miss the rest of the season.
2nd straight year, huh? He's missed a good portion of the season.
Well, I wonder what will happen in Toronto in the offseason. Boy, their hopes were so high. We began the season in Toronto, and they were talking World Series before a game had even been played.
Well, they'll be watching it with the rest of us.
Yeah, they made a lot of big off-season moves and acquisitions, but Bautista, 28 home runs. Down in the dirt to Michael Bourne. Chop foul. Yeah, Tom Bochenek just called it up here, Rick. In 2002 for Rodriguez, he was called up on September the 15th.
Yeah, halfway through.
Yeah, I mean, you're almost at the end of the line when he got the call up. But after just 5 appearances, they put him on the postseason roster. That's all it took. Hey, this guy's pretty good.
Well, Swisher had to duck down and went right over his head. Hey, bro, I got to be ready.
Strike 3 called. Again. Michael Bourne is not real happy with Mike DeMuro, who, dare I say, has been a tad inconsistent here tonight. Wow.
He just said, come on.
Come on, man. All right, 2 down for Nick Swisher. All right, so how about these numbers for Francisco Rodriguez in 2002? So he gets called up middle of the month. He appears in 5 games. They add him to the postseason roster. He pitched in 11 postseason games, went 5-1 in the postseason with a 1.93 ERA.
Well, you talk about peaking at the right time. It came out of nowhere. Came down from the minor leagues.
He won 5 games in the postseason. That's unbelievable. Tied the major league record that Randy Johnson had set in 2001. He had 28 strikeouts in those postseason games, the most in major league history by a reliever.
Talk about making your way on the scene, huh? And I mean shining.
Here I am.
So how do you think the expectations were after that year?
Yeah. Well, he didn't do too shabby in 03. Out of the Angels bullpen, he was 8-3 that year, 59 appearances. He was essentially the setup guy.
Right, he wasn't the closer then, correct. Back then they had Percival.
Up and away. Followed that up in 04 with 69 appearances, a 1.82 ERA. Took over the closer's job in 05, notched 45 saves that year. 47 saves the year after that. You get the idea. 2-2 pitch, strike 3 called. How about that? He may have lost a little bit off the old fastball, but he still knows how to pitch. He strikes out the side, 6-4 Cleveland. Panini's with 18 locations in Northeast Ohio, and by Levin. Looking at sparsely populated Progressive Field tonight from our Panini Cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. Ryan Flaherty, Brian Roberts, Manny Machado for Baltimore here in the 7th. The Indians leading at 6-4. Cody Allen got the last out of the 6th. He'll stay on to start inning number 7. Activity in the Tribe pen. Bullseye. It's 0-2. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out on 3 pitches. Back downstairs we go to Katie Withrow.
Well, Matt, there are still tickets left for Saturday's 6:05 start against the New York Mets. You want to make sure you get here early, especially you Michael Bourne fans, because the first 10,000 through the gate will get to take home a free Michael Bourne replica jersey presented by Meritech. Afterwards, post-game fireworks presented by the Brilliant Electric Sign Company. Get your tickets now at Indians.com.
All right, thanks, Katie. Here's Brian Roberts, who walked and scored his last time up. Just 1 for 11 in the series. Fastball strike inside corner. One-two breaking ball. Roberts lays off. Indians will enjoy an off day tomorrow. And then they'll begin a stretch of 17 straight. 17 games in 17 days before their final off day of the season on September 23rd. And it will be a stretch where they're going to have to really play well as Roberts takes a called third strike, and Cody Allen has retired the first 2 here in the 7th.
Well, he's got both pitches working tonight, man, and there's a nice curveball right there. Perfect spot, outside edge at the knees. He takes it looking. So he is dealing tonight, 96 with a good breaking ball.
A little bit low. Ball 1. Manny Machado hit the 3-run homer in the 5th inning that brought the Orioles back and tied the game at that time. Indians were able to come right back, bottom half of the inning, and answer with 2 to regain the lead.
He's keeping the ball down.
Fastball just missing at 97 miles an hour. And Machado able to lay off. Look at that.
Yeah, he's got the whole fingers painted. Yeah.
He's got the stripes. He went too far. It's 2-2.
Well, they had issues on the road, you know, when the Rich Hill and him in Detroit. So why not? Instead of just the nails, paint the whole finger. Next thing you know, it's going to be the hand. They'll have a glove on like skeleton, see all the bones. It's
there you go.
You got to see that, don't you?
Breaking ball. I mean, wow.
Well, he obviously called it high. It had the plate. You see him sitting away, and that's a strike too. I mean, that's a tall guy at the plate. He's missed a couple tonight.
Payoff pitch. Fouled back. Machado was the batter in the 5th inning when Zach McAllister threw a fastball that appeared to be strike 3. But he didn't call it. And then Machado got another chance and hit the ball out of the park for the home run.
Got a chance for 4 strikes, and you see what happened.
Again, the 3-2 pitch. Popped him straight up. Is it playable? Gomes back to the screen. He's got room. He makes the catch. Cody Allen cruises through the 7th. Machado fires the helmet and the bat away in disgust. 6-4 Tribe, 7th inning stretch time. Brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. We have a rain delay here in the booth.
Raining cubes, too.
I don't think I've done that since our first year working together.
Don't worry, it won't be the last. It's got a day to dry out. They'll be set by Friday.
Wow. Turf's a little wet, too.
Your mother.
Francisco Rodriguez with an impressive inning of relief work.
Not a bad idea. Kipnis, he laid down a beautiful bunt his first at-bat and got a base hit. He's been on base every time tonight, so why not try it? This guy's been tough to the first 3 hitters.
You know, when he laid down that perfect bunt his first time up, I said to him, boy, you know, if you could do that every time. Of course, there aren't many that can. And I brought to mind the first guy that I thought of was Rod Carew, as far as being able to bunt and literally just put it anywhere he wanted to. Since him, is there anybody you've seen since him that has been as adept at bunting?
I'll tell you, yeah, Brett Butler was really good at it.
Forgot about Brett Butler.
He did a tremendous job with the Indians. I was gone by the time he came over here, but I'll tell you what, that little guy, he would get, I bet you, 20 bunt hits a year.
Played a long time, too.
Yeah, he's still in I think he's in the Diamondbacks organization, AAA managing. He was a very good bunter. But Carew could bunt with 2 out or 2 strikes. He was really seemed to drop it where he wanted to. But that time up, Kipnis tried to run and bunt. The first time, he just put it down first and then took off, and he laid down a perfect bunt. But the thought process I like.
Pulls that one. Oh, a diving stop by Davis from his knees. Throws him out. 1 away.
That was a nice play. And now you see Michael Bourne led the game off on a play like this, except he didn't lead the pitcher to the bag. He gets it there for K-Rod in front, and it was an easier play for him to step on the base. Came up and put a little something on it, and he was over there in plenty of time to get Kipnis. So a nice play by Davis and a nice feed.
Santana taking a strike. Carlos walked and scored his last time up. He tries to bunt to beat the shift. Machado off balance throw, and he got him. Are you kidding me?
Yes, that guy makes plays night after night after night. I'll tell you what, that was a big league play. Watch this. I mean, he's giving it all away. And Santana, he bunted a little too hard, but still you got to put it down and play. For him to come over and make that throw and get something on it, it's about as well as you're going to see right there.
My goodness.
That was a great play.
Timeout for a pitching change here in the 7th. Tribe leading at 6-4. Top, and as promised earlier, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Yan Gomes swinging a hot bat tonight.
Yeah.
First time up, opposite field, drove in a run. And
just look at where the ball's pitched. He hit it. That one was inside. Then he leaves one up over there, and he drilled it down into the corner. So he went to right, pulled one in the hole, and, yeah, he's been on fire. 3 hits, a couple of ribbies.
breaking ball in there for a strike. Josh Stinson, second appearance in the series. One ball, one strike. Gomes shoots it right back. One ball, two strikes. Oh, he tied him up. Fastball up and in. Ends the inning. 7 in the books. It's Cleveland 6, Baltimore 4.
And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
(6-4) Tribe on top. Let's get the answer to the AT&T trivia question. 2 double play combos have won 4 Gold Gloves as teammates.
How about Belanger and Gritch for Baltimore, because they were always good. And then in the National League, who would you think over there?
I would probably say not those 2 guys.
Conception and Morgan?
Yeah, I forgot. I was thinking Lopes and Russell. That was the
and
first guys that came to mind.
all in the mid-'70s, too.
Yeah.
They were right there, both of them.
Well, that's why Lopes and Russell couldn't win them. They had those 2 guys.
Exactly. The big red machine taking place up the middle.
How could I have forgotten Morgan and Conception? That's pretty good, though. That's interesting, though. Those are the only 2 combos to win 4.
Well, it's tough, man. You got to play
together a long time.
But you both have to be outstanding, and as many good defensive players there are. You know, Baltimore was always a team that great pitching, solid defense. You could go in there and go 0 for 12 in a 3-game series and go, man, it seemed like they had 15 guys out there on the field when you were playing. If you put it in play.
Speaking of that, mentioned earlier that Bill Castro has taken over as a pitching coach with Rick Adair taking a personal leave. With Castro leaving the bullpen, they promoted Scott McGregor to take over as a bullpen coach. He had been the rehab pitching coordinator for Baltimore, and he's been a pitching coach throughout various levels of their minor league system, but that guy was a heck of a pitcher in his day, 20-game winner at one time with Baltimore. And I went back and looked up his numbers over his career. Here's Scott McGregor. Do you realize that only 4 guys faced him more than you did?
Is that right?
Yeah.
I do not know that.
Yeah, you faced him a lot in your career.
I did. Well, it's always seemed like he was pitching him and Flanagan and those guys.
Yeah.
Palmer for a while.
I had the number before I dumped the glass of water on it, so
I'm glad you did.
But Reggie Jackson was one of the guys that faced him.
You know, he had a funky delivery. He'd come up there and he'd sort of cross arm and fire it. But I didn't mind facing him because he used to like throw fastballs in, and I sort of liked it.
You got him, couple of homers, triple, double. But there were some pretty good names on that list. Mike Easler, 0 for 13 in his career against him. The hitman couldn't get a hit against McGregor.
Well, he had a good curveball, too. He could a little deception in that delivery. But a solid major league starter.
Yeah.
You know, he'd have that come up in slow delivery. He could get you. He's tough to run on. You had to guess. That's when Mike Flanagan, the former general manager with them, they were teammates coming in the 70s and going into the 80s.
Murph said you faced McGregor and Palmer more than any other pitcher. Those are the 2 guys you saw the most.
That's why I'm a 260 lifetime hitter.
Chris Davis goes down swinging as Joe Smith takes care of him. 1 down here in the 8th. Let's go back and revisit our keys to the game, courtesy of Akron Children's Hospital. Well, Zach was back on track until that 5th inning when Machado hit the 3-run homer off of him. That's when things went haywire. But up until that point, he was really pitching well. So, and offensively, the Indians jumped on him early for a 4 spot. But more impressive than that was the fact that they were able to immediately answer when Baltimore tied the game in the 5th inning.
Yes, they did. They came right back. That's only the second time in the 7 games that they've met that they've been able to respond to a Baltimore run. The last time they did it was in Baltimore in June. They ended up winning the game in the ninth inning off Johnson, excuse me.
Big chopper off the plate. Kipnis waits back, unloads in a hurry. 2 down. Stay tuned for Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Comes your way next here on Sports Time Ohio. Al and Jason will have all the highlights. Rick and I will have some thoughts on the ball game from here at the yard. Katie will have reaction from the clubhouse. Nick Markakis 0 for 3. 2 for 12 in the series. The inside corner called strike.
There you go.
Boy, he jammed him.
Sure did.
Baltimore goes 1, 2, 3. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-4 Tribe.
Stay tuned after the game for Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Check out the highlights. Katie's waiting, hopefully, to do an interview.
Well, they need to finish this one off. Jim Johnson, the Baltimore closer, is coming on now to work here in this 8th inning. Shows you Buck Showalter wants to keep it right here. Had 2 runs.
The rubber game of his series. The Indians have been very good. So is Baltimore. So the Indians need 3 more outs, and they'd certainly take a couple more runs on the board if they could get them.
And Asdrubal Cabrera, 0 for 2 on the night with an intentional walk, takes a breaking ball for strike 1. So Johnson, just like Cody Allen, comes in, think power pitcher, and the first pitch you see is a big curveball.
Yeah.
There's the fastball sinking down.
Yeah, he's a sinker baller. This guy is good stuff. He's blown a few saves this year, but he also leads the league with 41.
Cabrera trying to serve it the other way, but it goes foul. Chris Perez getting ready in the Tribe bullpen. Strike 3 called. Cabrera loudly letting Mike Jamiro know he didn't like the call. 1 down here in the 8th. Our in-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. Jason Kipnis with a couple of runs scored, a couple of singles for him. Jan Gomes has driven in a pair. Of course, Rayburn had the big 2-run double early. First at bat for Matt Carson since he came on for Ryan Rayburn. Chopper foul, third base side. Johnson delivers, and over the head of Carson. Breaking ball that didn't break.
Yeah, you don't expect to see that ball coming out of the big man's hands behind you with the breaking ball, and it just stayed right there. He lost it. He's got to get down. Take the elevator, bottom floor, please.
Another breaking ball. That one hangs high, but over the plate, and it's 2-2.
Look at that. I mean, that's a couple inches right off the top of the helmet.
Too close for comfort. Up high again, full count. And the payoff pitch is a fastball right up the middle, and Carson has a base hit with one out here in the 8th.
Tell you, nice job by Carson to stay in there, had a ball over his head and comes back and puts it together. A nice at bat. He had a sinker that was upstairs and drills it right back up the middle. Double digits in hits for the Indians.
After
10.
coming within inches of getting drilled by a pitch, he ends up smacking one right back up the middle. 10th hit of the night for the Tribe, as you pointed out. Mike Avila's 2 hits on the night. He has singled, doubled, and driven in a run. And a strike is called. Double play ball to short. 6-4-3. Inning over. We'll go to the 9th. 6-4 Cleveland. Ninth inning. And on to try and save it for the Indians is Chris Perez. Last night was not a save situation. When Perez came into the ballgame, it was a 4-0 Indians lead, but they hit the 3-run homer. So, in a sense, it then became a save situation.
In his own mind.
And they went 1-2-3. So this was last night. Nate McLaughlin with the bases almost jacked full. He had a 3-run homer. And that made it a 1-run game. And then Chris went 1, 2, 3.
It had no outs, so he had to get it back together in a heartbeat. Well, he'll come on. It's a 2-run lead now.
He's going to have to face McLaughlin again. He's got Matt Wieters first, then McLaughlin, then J.J. Hardy. That trio has combined for 55 home runs on the year. Indians trying to win, their 8th series of the year after they lost the first game of a 3-game series. They're in position to do it. And a first pitch strike to Matt Wieters, who is 0 for 3 on the night. Slider in for a strike, and it's 0-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. One away. Here in the night, the executive producer for Sports Time Ohio is Tom Farmer. Coordinating producer, Steve Warren. Tonight's game produced by Jim Murphy, directed by Pat Murray. Indians Live is produced by Mike Bachman. Associate producers Mike Pachta and Steve Bardo. Technical director Dan Larson. Creative consultant Mark Kohag. Nate McLouth, 1 for 3 on the night. Fouls the first pitch back. So many talented individuals bring you Indians baseball on a nightly basis. Great camera operators like Brian McDermott, Kerry Cams, Joe Gamallo, Jimmy Orak, Chris Madden, Mark Shapiro, Johnny Gorsica, Gene Anderson, Mitch Hayden, Igor Klobos, Frank Schubert. Back at Michigan Control, Bill Schnack makes sure everything sounds just right.
Oh, and it always does.
Mike Grignon makes sure all of Schnack's microphones are wired for sound here at the ballpark. Thanks to Tom Bushenik, who keeps the numbers, Gary Coach for keeping everybody straight, and John Krepop, our esteemed director of misinformation.
Well, you better wake him up and tell him.
There's a ground ball towards second base. Kipnis gathers it in. Throws him out 2 away. J.J. Hardy, 1 for 3 on the night. He doubled and scored back in the 5th inning. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game and 4 for 9 in the series. Wow, Boston putting a whooping on Detroit now. 16-4 Red Sox over the Tigers.
Yeah, they got mad.
Pitch down low, ball 1. Yankees held on to beat Chicago 6-5. Popped back out of play. New York began the day 1 game in front of Cleveland in the wild card standings. Tampa Bay, they're out in Anaheim getting ready to start against the Angels. That's the team everybody's chasing right now for that second wild card spot. Oakland, they may not lose again the way they're rolling right now. Strike called. It's 1-2. Wouldn't be surprised if Oakland ends up winning the AL West, and perhaps Texas could end up the wild card. Who knows? But the Indians, a much-needed win here tonight. They're 1 strike away from taking the series and leapfrogging Baltimore in the wild card standings. Just missed inside. Kansas City, just a game behind Cleveland in the wild card hunt. They're tied 4-4 with Seattle in the 6th inning at Kauffman. Swinging a foul tip, but Gomes couldn't hold on.
Oh boy, so close.
And Hardy stays alive. Perez ready, the 2-2. A little bit outside, a full count. If Hardy gets aboard, Ryan Flaherty, the number 9 hitter, would be next. Swinging a fly ball towards center. Bourne closing in a hurry. Dives and makes the catch. Michael Bourne ends the ball game with a diving grab in center field, and the Indians take the series, winning 2 out of 3 from Baltimore with a 6-4 final score here tonight. And so the Indians move ahead of Baltimore in the wild card standings. They'll stay a game behind New York in the wild card hunt. A terrific play by Bourne as the Indians get a much-needed series win. And once again, it's their 8th series win of the year after they lose the first game of a series. So they do it the hard way. They come back and take the last 2. Time now for our key play of the game. It's brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, Matt, we talked about it in that 5th inning after Baltimore had tied it up. They come back and they have a response to it. Yan Gomes goes and hits a double down into the left field corner. It scores Kipnis. They take the lead, and they held on to that lead. A big hit for Gomes, his 3rd of the game. Get a free Kindle Fire HD when you sign up for a new checking account. Some restrictions apply.
Big win for the Tribe tonight here at Progressive Field. 6-4 is the final. We'll come back with some final thoughts right after.